A robust labour market report. Rick Reader of BlackRock called it solid. Here's my question for you, sir. You more worried about people losing their jobs or getting down inflation?
I think we need to work on, we're worried about both, obviously. I don't want people to lose their job, but we need to continue to bring down the inflationary pressures that people have. Certainly, what OPEC made a decision on this week to do was not helpful to us. The president was disappointed. We're disappointed as administration, but we need to continue to bring down those pressures. I mean, I think that, you know, I had a long conversation in my office today. I certainly don't want to see the unemployment number go up. I like to see people working.
That's what the Fed is forecasting. Some people say that's the objective. How are you preparing for the pain that they're forecasting, and what can we do on the supply side when it comes to things like immigration?
Well, on the unemployment, you know, we were talking for the last 3 months about seeing those numbers go down, and in the year 2022, we've had about 440,000 jobs per month. We're still seeing people, 263,000 people going to work today. This month, I should say, last month, we're still seeing those numbers going on. So I think that that's something that is important, that we continue to put those gains. We still have job openings. People are still looking for work. Obviously, we'd like to see the participation rate a little higher. I mean, that number went down a little bit this month. I think 1/10%. So we have to see what's happening there.
Clearly, the employee over the last couple of years is getting some leverage it hasn't had for a few years, a number of years, maybe even decades, over their employers. You brokered a deal with unions in the last few months with freight rail companies, the 12 unions. I understand 4 of them have ratified the deal, Marty. Secretary Walsh, are you worried about the other 8?
No, I'm not. I mean, they're out there explaining, when I say they, the union leadership now and the bargaining committees are out there explaining to the members what's in those contracts. It was a very painful negotiation, not what I had, but leading up to me. 2 years of negotiation with really no movement. And I think that there's explaining to do in these contracts. And I look at these contracts, they're good. They're a good contract. I mean, it's 24% over 5 years, healthcare freeze cap, work rules change. It was a good contract for the employer and employee as well. So hopefully we can get the rest of these ratified in the next 6 weeks.
In the Rose Garden, the president said this: because of this labour agreement, those rail workers will get better pay, a 24% wage increase over the next 5 years, improved working conditions, peace of mind around their healthcare by capping the cost that workers will have to pay. Have the poor workers on the West Coast, Secretary Walsh, asked for the same conditions?
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're asking for wages and benefits, but certainly those are all the conversations that are generally on the table. A little different negotiation. The West Coast port negotiation is a very fluid conversation. That both sides are at the table. They're both having conversations. It's a longer process than I anticipated, but that's just historically the way they've operated. They kind of take one segment at a time. I stay in close contact with both the employer side in the unions on the West Coast port, and you know, both sides have expressed to me that they're still moving forward. There'll obviously be sticky issues that'll pop up every now and then, but nothing that's making me be concerned that I have to have a 20-hour meeting in my office about.
What would make you concerned? Because you've seemed pretty relaxed about that over the last few months and through much of the summer.
I mean, I think if I heard one side or the other side just kind of saying that they're not moving forward enough or quick enough, and there's really concern, I'd see it in their voice or hear in their voice, so they'd express to me. You know, I've spent, before this negotiation started, I spent a lot of time out on the West Coast, both sitting down with the unions and sitting down with the employers. So in this case, I have a lot better relationship with the employers and the unions than I did in the rail. The rail was kind of all new to me. The union side, I knew who they were, but I really didn't know the leaders of the unions, and I certainly didn't know the rail companies because I wasn't familiar with them in my old job. But so having that relationship with both sides going in, it makes it a lot easier to navigate and try and help continue to move along.
Secretary Walsh, if my memory serves me correct, I think the last time we did this on the West Coast was maybe 2014, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just wondering, in previous experience, did it take this long?
Yeah, it did. It took longer, actually, and that's why I was having a conversation the other day, and I asked how long. It actually took longer. I think 2014. I want to say 28. I think it might have been a lockout in 28, and there was a strike in 1972. I think it was. So it does take a long time because it's very complicated. They're doing the whole port, all of the West Coast negotiation, and every pier has a different set of rules and negotiations that they have to do as well. So it's a master contract, but then there's individual rules in each of the ports, so they're going through all this systematically.